Alright, YouTube. I'll give y'all a quick recap of over the weekend race. So shout out to everybody that came out. It was a good day of racing. Track was wet, so we had to spend some time to dry it off, but still made a good day for testing and racing towards the end. So I'm gonna start off with the Pro Stock. So Pro Stock did good. I noticed once the groove builds up for stock electronics, it's not good. Second of all, I normally run Voodoos. Alright, sorry about that. So as I was saying, shout out to my man Derek. He gave me some Dragworks yellows. This was his last season, and I finally got to try them out. And let me tell you, these tires hooked on, for the Pro Stock, it hooked on that bare ground. There was no prep on the ground or anything, and the car still hooked up and got down the first hit right off the line. So I'm happy with those. Now the problem I was having, since the body, I trimmed the body out for Voodoos, this was the problem I was having. You know, these tires are wide, so I was rubbing here for one, getting stuck, and it was rubbing up here. Never had those marks before. So gotta work on that. That's for one. I think that was what's slowing me down. I don't think the front was rubbing, but I'm not too sure. I'd have to go over it because I think these marks was there already. But as far as the rear, those wasn't, so I know that the body was rubbing and slowing the car down. So that's play a big part. Now I do have adapters that's thick, so maybe if I go with the skinny ones, I might be able to make it cover the body. If not, I think a Corvette body would work perfectly fine. But other than that, everything worked out good. So remember, I'm using floating body mounts to the rear. So I must say those worked out well. That worked out great. I got no complaints there. Car did its job. It was I started off with lower gearing. I think I had like a 21 on here, and then I went up 2 teeth right before the race because I needed more top speed. So once I did that, the car pretty much did its thing, and it ran well. I must say. So when Derek was like one of the first persons that got these tires that I know, and so he glued them right up to like narrows, so it does have an overlap to the tire, but the tire worked amazing. Like, I was very pleased with this. Now for me, when I use Voodoos, no matter my same prep routine, it will probably take me a hit or two to actually get off the line. Compared to these, it went right off. I wanted to switch them out just to see what it would have did on the Outlaw, but the Outlaw was running too good, so I didn't want to mess with it. Other than that, car ran perfectly fine. Still would, to make this an even better car, what I would do is get the V2, because this is a Tombstone chassis. Get the V2, put the servo up so I can move the battery up. Also, let me show y'all real quick. I was using this battery. So as y'all know, I had this battery 2 seasons ago. But I had it up here, which worked well. The battery worked well, but the IR was like at 2.0. And being that it's an old battery, me cycling it probably came down to 1.5. But I ran it like that the whole day with the car, and it did perfectly fine. So in the groove, car got stuck, and I seen other people get stuck. So what I did was I just went out the groove, because the first test hit I did was on bare road. So I figured that obviously it would do it again in a race. So it did, and it won. And actually that day was the first day I actually got to test the car. It was already set up from Outlaw, so all I did was put stock electronics in it, and it still worked out. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun class. I did not think I was taking it. I thought Tom had it, or Ron, should I say, Tom or Ron, and it came out to be a good one. So we're gonna keep tweaking this. I think a better battery would help me out, but we'll see. We'll keep it how it is for now and then go from there. But let me get the Outlaw car, and then we'll go from there. All right, we probably won't run this body no more. It got a crack up here. Might run it for test, or I might even put on a Pro Stock. But so with this body, when I got down, I think I did 1 or 2 hits. And then when the car actually finally got down, as it got mid-track maybe, or even a little bit further, it just hooked straight to the right. Went under Derek's car and smashed up the whole body right here. All of this was inside. So I took the body off, put the Corvette back on, and the car was going decent. Got to work on the shutdown because towards the end, I was having a little slippage and sliding into the other side of the track, just braking though. Other than that, the car went down straight. So how the day started was my first 2 hits, I believe I spun, and then the third one I got down. Now the issue I was having was as the groove started to build up, I kept a low start power and I was messing with it. I don't even think I got my last pass. It wasn't even a complete pass, so I can't check a log. So the first hit I got down, it was like 2 O's. So I started to progress and drop down in numbers. But my main issue was as the groove started to build up, I had to, I'm new to R1, so I had to keep figuring out start power and my point. So I pretty much, where I was messing up at was leaving my point the same and just messing with the start power. So I figured the point don't really do much besides give you more into the ramp. It wouldn't initially give that's the way I'm thinking. It would just be making the ramp faster. So I want the initial hit off the line harder so it could come out of the groove. So it's just to fine tweak it. I know with Castle, I knew what to do, and if the groove was too big, I would get stuck. So now with R1 that has start power, I have to fine tune. So I was at a 25 in the morning, working good. And then we started to increase the groove, so I had to increase my start power. So I went up on one. I went up back to where I was the last test session, and it was just too much. So I backed back down off of it, and I got out the groove. And then it was a tricky day. That's the most I could say. It was a tricky day, still learning. So now what I need to do is get a good test session and to play with point. Because I wasn't really playing with the remote at all. I was really playing with the ESC. The most I did to the remote was change my ramp. I started at a 96 and I ended the day with a 94. So that's pretty much what I did. As far as the car, the wheel, everything ran great. The wheels was on the money, which is I think these are the Cruel ones, the pre-glued, pre-mounted. And then I ran the Red Voodoo. So I ran Red Voodoos because it was cold that day, and I needed soft. But as the groove built up, what I should have did was switch tires. I should have tried the Drag Works. If not, I should have went to Golds. Because I feel that the groove, once you get stuck in a groove, if you have a firmer tire, it should be able to come out of it instead of squatting in. I don't know if y'all know what I'm saying, but if you get a slow-mo video, you'll see the tire scrunch down. So if you had a firmer tire, it should be able to roll off the groove. That's my thought. So next time I'll try it and see what happens. Might not be able to get out to no races, so if I do get out to test, hopefully the groove is back to where we need it, and I could try to work on point and start power, and then we could go from there. But so far so good with the car. Still thinking I got a lot more in this. So I was able to hit 181 on in a race. That was a new PB in a race anyway. So I got 81 on the tree. So that was some good mile an hour. So that's when I just started to add to it. But as the day went on, the groove built up so much that I was just getting stuck, or I was coming out the groove, slingshot and going crazy. So that's something I got to work on. Find the sweet spot and go from there. So y'all stay tuned. Hopefully we can get out and fine tune this thing and get some real good data. So all right, guys, y'all stay tuned.